Hello, my name's Ed Stack from the Connecticut Blues Society. We're here today with Joe Louis Walker, one of the all-time great bluesmen. Joe's been a professional musician since he was 14 years old. Came out of San Francisco, been playing blues, jazz, rhythm and blues, soul, gospel. Muriel Coriel tells me that he's sensational at all of these, and he's got the resume to prove it. He's got albums out. I think he's been in approximately 140 albums in his career.
A little bit more than that, but
Probably
I lost count, Ed.
Oh, okay. And he's received many awards. As a matter of fact, his career has really zoomed. He's always been at the top of the blues field, but I would say in the last couple of years, his career has really taken off. So I'd like to talk to him today before he goes out and plays on the Legends show for Don Odell. I thought a good place to start would be with your recent album that you did on the legendary Blues Cruise.
Yeah.
And if you could tell me a little bit about how you started to get on the Blues Cruise and how you felt about it, because I've been on the Blues Cruise 4 times myself, and I know how exciting it is and what an experience it is. If you could tell me a little bit about how you felt.
Yeah, well, I went on one of the early ones, 92 or something like that, a long time ago. I think it was one of the first ones they had, and it was enjoyable, and we had a good time because you get to see all your friends, and you get to hang for a week. And you know, normally we see each other, but it's for a day or something like that. But you never get everybody in the same place. And so I got the chance to hang with a lot of friends of mine I've known. Etta James is from the same area. I'm from San Francisco area, Fillmore District. So people like Taj Mahal, and everybody spent some time and have a good time with them. And so that was great. And I hadn't done it in quite a while because I'd moved out of the country to Europe for a couple of years, to France, and one thing led to another, and so when I moved back to the United States, I did it again, and it was a lot of fun. I was a guest the first time, and then I came back with the band, and when I came back with the band, I looked at the roster, and I said, well, you know, most of these people I know, why don't I do a record, you know, because I had a pretty much success with a live record that I'd done in the 90s called Live at Slim's. It was Live at Slim's Part 1, Live at Slim's Part 2. But they didn't have a lot of people on them. I had a couple of guests, Angela Straley and Huey Lewis were my guests on the records then. But to make a long story short, when I looked at the roster when I was going to be on the boat last year, I said, wow, you know, my friends are on there, everybody, Johnny Winters, Duke Robillard, my co-producer on his last album, and produced 2 of the ones before that, and just so many people. Tommy Castro with the horn section, all my homeboys from California, and Johnny Winters and all. So everybody agreed to do it, you know, and it was just so much fun, you know, and it was great.
Yeah, some people play better jamming with other people, and some people like to just do their own thing.
Yeah.
And I get from listening to the CD that you really enjoyed playing with all these other people.
Oh yeah, you know, it just brings something different out of you. Everybody has their own story to tell, and when you could do something with somebody, then you too have a story. You know, it's like a conversation, and it's really, you know, you really can feel when you're a musician, you can feel what direction somebody's going and what they're trying to do. You know, when you're playing, you know, it's like a conversation. Somebody's talking. You can see the direction that they're trying to get to, and it's great to be able to help them to get to that direction. You know, it really brings you together.
Yeah, I noticed that, not only from the fans' point of view, because when you get on the boat, you meet a bunch of people. It's almost like a family reunion.
Yeah.
You run into all these people from the other part of the country, and you're like old friends.
The other part
and
of the world.
The other part of the world, and the musicians are doing the same thing. I know people like Tommy Castro put together a group, and then went out, had such a good time. They were out there touring, and I imagine that was a similar feeling that you had when you decided to do the album. The first song on there, Slow Down GTO, I enjoyed that. I noticed that there was a guy that was involved in writing that, probably with you, but his name was Joe Russo.
Yeah, Joe.
I didn't really know the Joe Russo name. Could you tell me
Well,
Anything about
JoJo's a
him?
good friend of mine. He's a very good friend of mine, and probably his best friend is Alvin Bishop. They work together a lot. And JoJo is a car customizer, but he also writes. And what happened was I lived in a place called Pittsburgh, California at the time, and JoJo had done a few things with Tom Fogerty, John Fogerty's brother, but he never really, you know. Sometimes you can get together with somebody and it really brings out some pretty good things in you. And with me and JoJo, we wrote about 3 albums in a couple of years. Just really, we really can work together good. And it can't, I mean, that's not the only song me and him wrote. A lot of songs we're going to do here today at the Legends show is a lot of stuff that me and JoJo wrote for several albums. We wrote a slide guitar album. We wrote an album, more of a rock and blues album called New Directions. We did a lot of stuff together.
Yeah. The next song that you did was one of my favorites, really, Ain't That Cold? And I had the New Directions CD, and I really liked it from there. But this, of course, was a little different because it had Johnny Winter on it. Can you tell me a little about the experience of playing with Johnny on the boat?
Well, I mean, with Johnny, it's always fun for me because, I mean, we go back, and Johnny is very aware of where his music fits, you know, and he's very aware of where his music would fit with me, you know. But for somebody to come and do something like that of Johnny's stature, he's got to trust you. You know, he's got to trust that you're doing the right thing. You know, it's going to be presented right. Because, you know, the honest fact of it is that someone like Johnny as well as Jimi Hendrix have been bootlegged beyond bootlegging, you know, and a lot of times it isn't the kind of material, the quality, you know what I mean, that he really like. You know, I'm sure that Jimi Hendrix, wherever he is, rest his soul, is saying, you know, I wish they wouldn't have put that out and put this, you know, I mean, just the way it is. So I felt really, really honored that Johnny did it. And I think when me and Johnny play together, I bring out some different things in him, you know. And actually we did 2 songs on but only one made the record. We also did Rolling and Tumbling, which I really liked, but due to some other situations that we couldn't put that on the record. But be that as it may, I mean, you know, it's a dream come true. I always wanted to do something with Johnny. I mean, he's one of my favorite people. I've known him for so long, and I'm just glad to see he's doing great. He's looking good. He's playing great. You know, it's a guy that inspired so many people, you know, and he deserves a medal just alone for what he did with Muddy Waters.
Yeah, right. For the 3 albums that he produced.
As far as I'm concerned,
Yeah. I thought it was quite a compliment to you that he did one of your songs, you know, rather than just do Mojo Boogie or one of his own. That was a compliment to you.
Yo, me and JoJo, because I mean, my friend Joe Russo, one of the main people that inspired him to even get in to write a song was Johnny Winter. So, you know, when I called him and said, well, Johnny's going to do the song, he just, I joked with him. I says, well, how much would you pay for Johnny to do a song? Would you pay $1,500? He says, yeah. I said, well, give me the money. I'm just joking with him.
During that song, you mentioned one of my favorite albums. It was your Great Guitar album that had everybody on it. I mean, Bonnie Raitt, Charlie Beatty. I mean, on and on it went.
Scotty Moore.
Yeah, Scotty Moore from the Elvis
Dave
days.
Mouth Brown.
Yeah.
Matt Guitar Murphy. All my guitar heroes.
Even Otis Rush.
Otis, Buddy Guy.
Buddy Guy was on it.
One of my biggest heroes, Ike Turner.
Oh, yeah.
And Robert Jr.
Wow.
You know,
That's
Robert
right.
Jr. Taj.
Yep.
Otis Grand from England. Tower of Power. Johnny Nocturne horns. So a lot of really good musicians on that record. I mean, it was so much fun to make. Cropper, because Steve co-produced it with me, and it was just so much because I got a chance to play with all my heroes. You know, people that some of my real heroes. I mean, it influenced me like Otis Rush. Otis don't play on everybody's record.
Yeah, that's for sure.
You know, Scotty. In fact, I think Scotty and Ike, I know, were just sort of coming back in their career. You know, so it was great for me to be able to get them. And not only did we do the record, but we did some shows. Me and Ike, we did Europe together. I took Ike to England. We played the Empire. I took him to France. We played La Cigale. Took him to Germany. I mean, we had Central Park. Me and Ike, Scotty Moore and Matt Guitar Murphy
Oh,
did
Matt.
Central Park together.
Wow.
And so, I mean, that was the dream come true
Yeah.
for me.
Oh, that's great. And I'm glad Matt Guitar Murphy has been playing around a little bit lately.
That's what I heard. I'm
that's
so
nice,
glad.
yeah.
I've seen I'm supposed to be on a festival where MT is playing at, and I've just I haven't seen him because we did so many things. We not only did that, me and Matt and Billy Boy Arnold did the acoustic trio in Europe, and then me and Matt and Billy Branch did the acoustic trio year. So I've done a lot of work with Matt, and I was just heartbroken when I heard that he had a stroke. But if anybody could pull back, it's MT.
Yeah. People remember him from the Blues Brothers movie and forget that he did all that stuff with Memphis Slim and Sonny Boy Williamson. I mean, he was a
incredible.
major name.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe you'd like to tell us a little about your gospel backgrounds because you really did some gospel music
Yeah.
for
Well,
10 years or so.
all my grandmothers and great grandmothers were all religious people. Yeah, so I pretty much had to grow up listening to gospel music all the time, But I got a triple dose of everything because, my parents, my dad listened to blues religiously. My mother listened to a lot of B.B. King. So, and I was the youngest of 5. So all my oldest brothers and sisters listened to, when we were kids, Jerry Lee Lewis, Elvis Presley, Otis, Otis Redding, all the
Little
stuff,
Richard.
Little Richard, yeah,
Yeah.
and everybody, and being the youngest, I got inundated by all of it. I had to go to Catholic school for 6 years. My dad, for some reason, he had it in his mind that I needed to go get a good education, which was a smart thing at the time. So I would get out of Catholic church on Sunday morning and go to Baptist church on Sunday evening. So I got a big dose of a whole lot of things. So one of my sisters always tells me, Joe, you just like a sponge because you were the last one, so you pretty much soaked up everything.
Absorbed it all.
And then I was born in San Francisco in '49, so when the hippies came, I was already there. So when that happened, I grew up with a lot of those guys, because a lot of those guys, nobody was famous in 1966 that I know of. I mean, Jerry Garcia, Marty Ballin, I mean, they weren't famous. People were working on their, nobody even thought about being famous till Monterey Pop, and then it was like,
It came fast. Once
it did. It came and it went fast. I mean, the Summer of Love, it came and it sort of apexed with Woodstock, and it ended with Altamont.